Yeah, it's exactly 5:35 p.m. on Thursday, August 10th, and I just finished spending the last hour and a half sweeping and wiping down this entire floor area and de-dusting and wiping down counters, stove, sink area, corners of the floor, etc. And now I just rinsed off my dusty feet and I'm sitting here just looking around. But something very strange has been going on recently. And over the last 20 minutes while I was wrapping up sweeping and just re-sweeping, I swept the floor like twice. There's something in the air in this unit. I don't know what it is or where it's coming from. That is a bunch of filaments or hairs. It feels like hair. So while I was, part of the reason I kept sweeping and sweeping again and re-sweeping this floor is because as I was walking around actively sweeping, there was a bunch of what felt like hairs falling all over my body, like not just my legs and feet, but my arms, and sometimes on my face. And I'm like, where's all this hair coming from? I don't shed that much hair. There is not a lot of hair in this unit. So I swept everything twice. And even while I'm sitting here right now with the floor completely clean, it's been wiped down, swept. The tiles are coming off, so that's not dirt. It's just broken tiles. Everything around here has been completely swept clean of any kind of dust or hair or fur or anything. But as I'm sitting here right now with the floor completely clean, I've wiped down all the items that could possibly be wiped down. There's hair that's landing on me. And it's not human hair. It's these filaments. It's some kind of a filament that is somehow getting propagated around this corner right here. I always feel it most intensely right around this corner, which again is the wall of the bathroom of 78. I don't know what's constantly going on behind this wall. There's something very strange that's constantly, so any problem of anything that goes wrong in this unit comes through this wall. And in this corner right here, I'm constantly getting hairs landing on me, landing on my feet. I just rinsed off my legs in the shower down the hall, which is a stronger shower than my own shower. So if I want to really do a strong, like, rinsing off, I go down the hall to the common shower. There should not be any long, stringy, hair-like items landing on my legs right now. I just rinsed them off. Okay, my legs are not that hairy. They're not so hairy that sitting here is that it feels like there's hairs landing on my legs. No, this is hairs that are actually landing on my arms as well, landing on my face. Sometimes it lands, like when I have a ponytail and my hair is tied up, I'll have random hairs landing on the top of my head that aren't my hair, and it's not actually hair. It took me a while to figure out. These aren't actually human hairs. This is some kind of a chemical filament. I don't know if it's coming from insulation that's coming out from this wall or something. There is a hair-like, long, stringy type of very thin chemical filament constantly showing up around this corner right here. I don't know if it's from the air conditioner. I mean, I rinsed out the filter about 2 weeks ago. The filter should be clean. Something or someone is causing the propagation of these very long, stringy chemical filaments that feel like human hair but aren't, because when you try to grab for them, if you have a bunch of human hairs landing in your lap, you can actually pick them up with your hand and roll them into like a hairball. These hairs disappear when you try to touch them, so they kind of dissolve. So this is very strange, and at the same time, I've noticed that it causes a burning sensation on the skin when these several of these filaments or hair-like filaments land on my skin and I try to grab it. Instead, I end up like causing it to dissolve on my skin. It causes an intense burning sensation, burning and tingling. And I'm starting to think, I'm like, wait a second, what's going on here? Are they like deliberately blowing some type of chemical filaments into this living space? Whoever's always sitting behind that wall and blowing fumes and smoke straight through that wall. It was happening this afternoon. And at the same time, this psychotic stalker that's frequently sitting behind the wall of this kitchen area, that's the bathroom of her old former unit, where the maintenance manager does not seem to spend very much time, leaving the former resident plenty of time to access her old former unit and sit directly against that wall and engage in the same pattern of psychotic stalking, harassment, and physical harm as she did during the 8.5 years that she lived there. She was sitting there this afternoon engaging in two aggressive, intrusive types of behavior. blowing sudden bursts of fumes and smoke through this wall. While I was actively sweeping and mopping, I was making comments to the walls because I had this funny feeling there was someone sitting behind that wall. So I started saying all kinds of insulting things and calling her an ugly turd and things like that. And she started suddenly responding by blowing intense bursts of her usual stink, which is a combination of cigar smoke, marijuana fumes, and burning rubber. And at the same time, while I was sitting here on this bed around 3:30, taking a break and trying to take some vitamins out of a container that had been tampered with a few days ago, and that made me sick within moments of ingesting some of those gummies, she started remote tasering me. So that's her signature combination of activities: concurrently blowing intense, overpowering, sickening fumes through this wall while using some type of remote capacity stun gun device. She does both at the same time. That happened this afternoon. And now, just as I was finishing wrapping up, sweeping, mopping, cleaning, wiping everything down, all of a sudden, all these like hairs start flying around in this space. I have the window open, but as far as I know, there's no hairballs hanging out outside this window. The air conditioner is going, but again, I rinsed the filter. So where are all these sudden chemical hairs coming from? And they're chemical because, again, when I try to grab them, like I think I have like a bunch of hairs landing on my legs or on my arms, I reach for them and they dissolve and they start causing an intense burning sensation on my skin, and they disappear. They don't turn into a hairball the way normal hair does. So this is interesting. I'm going to put this up because if it keeps happening, and it's been going on for a while, I keep sweeping the floor because I think there's giant hairs flying around all over the place, but it's not actually hair. It's chemical filaments that somebody seems to be somehow propagating around this corner. I don't know where it's coming from, but I do know the result, which is that I'm constantly getting covered with what feels like hair, or maybe spiders' webs. But again, there's no spiders in this unit. I've never had a spider web in this unit, and I've lived in this unit for 12 years. And if there were spiders, it would feel like spiders' webs. This is not a spider web. I also just swept. So even if there were any spiders around here, they wouldn't have had time to suddenly start spinning webs all over this corner where like dozens of hairs suddenly start landing on me. No, this is some kind of chemical filament, again, that is propagated through the air. And when it lands on your skin, it causes an intense burning and tingling sensation, and it dissolves. So when you grab for it, you think there's like a bunch of hairs landing on your arm. You grab for it, it dissolves, and it causes a burning sensation. This is a physical possibility and a physical fact. I mean, there's a lot of technology out there that most people are not aware of because it's not commercially available, or it doesn't get commercially used, or it doesn't have a common purpose. But when you're dealing with career criminals, like the psychotic sex offender / cyber criminal / obsessive stalker / registered sex offender named Jasmine Irizarry, who's been engaging in nonstop criminal activity, electronic surveillance, harassment, hacking, physical assault, fume propagation, perving and creeping and stalking nonstop behind this wall for 8.5 years, then criminals have access to tools that normal people don't, maybe that even law enforcement isn't fully aware of, but that help them continue to commit the crimes that they psychotically and desperately need to commit in order to feel better about their sad, wasted, useless piece of shit lives. So these filaments that keep landing in my lap that aren't actually hairs, but that suddenly cause this intense burning, it's almost like jellyfish tentacles, but propagated through the air. So is there the technology for stuff like that? Absolutely. Are criminals able to, get all kinds of crazy stuff on the dark web or from their criminal friends? Yes. Do most normal people have any kind of awareness of this stuff? No, they don't. So what I'm reporting here is fact, but a lot of people probably don't know about it. So they're probably like scratching their heads like I am right now, but it doesn't mean that it's not possible in this physical reality. And it doesn't mean that criminals aren't using it on a regular basis. Apparently in this building, they certainly are.